Hey, it's me, Hrishikesh Kannan, popularly known as Hrishi K. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon now to get the latest videos and get taken into a world of entertainment, culture, sport, business, and current affairs.
Me and Shabana both got infected.
Yeah.
Having a 10-year-old child in the same house where parents are infected and parents don't believe in having mates and helping hand. I've realized that our daughter has suddenly become so responsible and suddenly become ladylike. She started taking care of her own classes, online classes. She started taking care of her own bed, her water, her food, sanitization. And I was looking at this nature's, miraculous, way in Ava, my daughter. That was something, that completely bowled me over. That our daughter, in the manner she has looked after herself and completely away from us at the same time. She has never slept alone without her mother in her room. But in these days, she chose to sleep alone without any fuss. Never once she complained.
Manoj Bajpayee, Arjun Mathur, Aban, so wonderful to talk to you guys. And Manoj, I know we've been in touch on WhatsApp. All your fans, your friends have been so worried about you. But I tell you this, no matter what COVID or whatever comes, that sweet victory of the national award, everything fails in comparison. I'm sure you agree with me.
I know. I was so down and out, sleeping because of massive weakness. So this is what we are coming out of. So the COVID time is very unpredictable. So that day I was feeling very weak, and I went over to sleep after my lunch. And when I got up, I saw more than 70 WhatsApp messages. I actually thought that some terrorist attack has happened or something.
Yeah, we always think of the worst.
Yeah. So I was telling Arjun and Aban both how difficult it was, first of all, to make this film and to find finance on a daily basis. It took us 4 years to actually finish shooting for the film, and it was so difficult to find a studio or a buyer for this film. But eventually, it got released on Sony Live in the lockdown, and it has done very well. And with this national award, the journey has come to an end. And with this, you feel that everything that has gone into making this film was just justified.
Beautiful. And I'm so happy for Devashish, for you, for the team, because it proves it's a classic case of the mainstream awards can do what they feel like and ignore you. But the love of the film going public is something nobody can take away from you. I mean, it's so beautiful, amazing.
Thank you.
Aban, I was teasing Tanvi Azmi because I did an interview with her in Tribhanga, and I was teasing her saying, it's wonderful that Baba Azmi is now the cinematographer of this film, so he'll make you look better and things like that. So what I want to ask you is, why isn't Kiranji the cinematographer of this film before we get into anything else?
Yes, that's a very valid question. The thing is that, we are married and our married life is very important. So at the end of the day, we want to travel home together peacefully.
That's a superb answer.
We don't want a war happening right from the set, carried into the car, carried home. So we decided that, whatever I am doing, if I am directing, he will produce. I won't, and when he will direct, I will not even write for him. I will only produce.
It is wonderful to keep the peace. The best formula for keeping the peace.
Very important. Very important.
It was. But let me tell you, at times he was so difficult. With one food, eat this, Manoj, eat this, eat this. No, eat this. I said, Kiran, I don't want to eat.
Kiran loves to feed people. He loves to feed people.
Yeah, it is, and a producer, his unit, so
Yeah.
he must have really gone out of his way.
And what
Yeah,
a
yeah,
producer he is. Let me tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
What a producer.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, fantastic
good,
producer.
But he loves
fantastic.
being a DOP better than being a producer. So he's very happy to get back to something big now.
Yeah, lovely. So Arjun,
Hanji.
does accidental prime minister have something to do with you playing a young politician?
What? Sorry, what? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying, people think of you as,
It's
people
no,
thinking of
that
you.
I've no, I must say, I'm really thankful that through the last few weeks, nobody, like everybody seems to have forgotten that the accidental prime minister even happened. They're like, this is your first time playing a politician. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, it is my first time. Yeah.
I'm sure I'm going to get a WhatsApp from you later saying, oh, why the hell did you bring this up?
Believe me, Arjun, after 20, 25 years of career, all of us have too many skeletons. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
कुछ तो बनते हैं. Yeah.
कुछ बनाए जाते हैं गोवा में घर बनाने के लिए, आप समझा लो।
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
See, he said it all. The experience, to soak in experience from Manoj Bajpayee in acting is one thing. These are life lessons.
Yeah.
Manoj, I was having a conversation with this boy in White Tiger, Adarsh Gaurav.
Oh, Adarsh Gaurav, right.
And he's done this film with you, Rukh. I
Rukh.
think.
He has
And
done Rukh.
he
Very
was
beautiful.
just. He was talking, I think the first 10 minutes, instead of talking about White Tiger and Priyanka Chopra, he was only talking about Manoj Bajpayee. And it must be so wonderful for you, so refreshing for you to work with young, talented actors, people like Arjun Mathur, people like that boy, Adarsh. And, they keep you on your toes and, you have to up your game, even though you're a
you have to.
master, even though you're a master.
I mean, acting as a craft is something I always believe that nobody can really master it. I know why. For a very simple reason that it's very much connected to life. As life is very unpredictable. One day you think that you know it all, and suddenly something happens, and something knocks the door, and you are completely blown away. So. And you find answer of yourself with no answer. This is what acting is as a craft. Every day you see some talents. Every day you meet you read some character, and you suddenly feel that you are brought to zero. And you have to start all over again. So this is the beauty of this craft, and that's why I'm so much in love with this craft. I personally feel that now my wife has come to terms with it that I love something else more than her. Earlier she used to fight too much with me.
And slowly your internet is going away, so you need to bring your hotspot back. While I'm talking,
Hotspot.
while I'm talking to
Hotspot.
Aban.
Hotspot.
and
Keep it here.
really, Aban, in that aspect, it must be wonderful to to be on the same set with Manoj Bajpayee, to be friends with him, because I know you're an actress too. Your love for the theater is also known by people who are familiar with your work. He's done so much theater with Barry, with NKG, so a lot of common factors as friends and working professionals. Aban.
So for me, though, when very honestly, silence happened because Manoj said yes to the film.
Wow.
Very clearly. And he came on board, and then suddenly there was traction. And I wanted Manoj for this because the character, Avinash Verma, is actually a very tough character to play because he is mouthing heavy bhari bharkam lines which are which needs a certain authenticity and belief in what they are being said. So he has to be Avinash Verma, and that is what Manoj was. When Manoj came on the set and he donned his mustache and those clothes, he was Avinash Verma, ECP Avinash Verma. I feel so lucky that I have somebody who believes that it is necessary to add that much effort in order to make that character come alive. So I feel extremely blessed. And then I had somebody like an Arjun Mathur. I wanted somebody who was, I like I mentioned earlier also, I didn't want stereotypes. I didn't want a politician who looked sleazy or, the pan chewing types. I wanted a very today's, suave, sophisticated politician who's very sweet, very nice to look at, and, he looks, and plus he's got the a baggage of being a very nice person. He's played very clean roles. So to get him into a character which was so complex and so very important to the film made a world of a difference to me.
Yeah. And the thing is, anybody who talks about regular careers and, careers which are straight and blinkers on, have to understand that Arjun Mathur and Manoj Bajpayee are loved in the LGBT community because of their roles, which is fantastic. That is what I mean by experimentation. He can play this ACP Verma. Likewise for Arjun, and I told him this when he got that Emmy nomination. The fact that he can play, be a straight man, play a gay character, and then come back and now do this politician bit. So tell me about Silence. Tell me about the part, Arjun. A little more. Let's just delve into it, please.
Well, I was, of course, also, like, one of the first things I heard about the project is that Mr. Manoj Bajpayee is in it. And me, having been an ardent fan since 1995, was thrilled at the prospect of sharing screen space with him to start with. And then had my first narration. And first of all, other than Aban being so extremely clear about, like, she was seeing her film beginning to end, and she was able to take me through it with such clarity. And that is extremely comforting for an actor, for an actor who likes to work by just like submitting completely to the director. I think I'm a director's actor, really. And if the director is really clearly seeing what they want to put on screen, that is the most comforting thing for me, And and then the character, in a genre that I had not previously explored, the character, like, through the narration, even I myself was like, this guy, what's his deal? Like, what, I'm not being able to put, is he guilty? Is he innocent? Is he being framed? Is he, so that, and that's also a rare thing, in a murder mystery. Like, often it happens that you are somehow able to predict, ke, na, ye to usne kiya hai, ya nahi, that's what's happened. But this was just impossible for me to see what was coming, And so all of that, really, the character had many shades, which I had not, as Aban said, because of this clean boy baggage that I come with. So that it was all just really interesting for me to explore, really. This
Lovely.
character is like the mystery element of the film, the one who keeps people guessing.
So Manoj, does this ACP fellow have a bad temper? Because he's very irritable in the trailer here.
He's he is irritable because of his colleagues or the juniors in this investigation. And sometimes he just loses it with them because he can take everything, but he can't take a stupidity.
Yeah.
So and there are certain things that we improvised. We kind of came up during the rehearsals when we were really exploring the scene.
Nice.
That is when the whole the equation between each and every colleague of mine and the juniors of mine got explored. Am I right, Aban?
Yes,
And
totally.
that is where I found my equation with Sahil, who is playing my junior, and suddenly I realized that because of the lines that he had, I had all the chance of really losing it on him and his stupidity, so we kind of explored it, and
Yeah.
Arjun, at times that has gone into off screen also. Once I was once I was ready to take the entry. Once I was ready to take the entry, and I just, and on my entry, when I'm taking entry, I'm thinking about the scene and the character and the first sur, first sur of the first line. And then I overheard him asking my makeup man, ये डीजल का शर्ट पहना है क्या तुमने?
Oh my
And
God,
I
he's
just
so
lost
funny.
it.
Oh God.
I just lost it. I just lost it on it. And then I have realized that, let's take this equation into the scene.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And
Nice.
the scenes with him became so alive, became so
Yeah.
lifelike.
I have to say,
They added so much. Yeah.
sorry, I just want to add that I had very few days with the entire, like whenever I would come on set and see the police team, and it was pretty amazing, like the camaraderie and the equation that I noticed
Yeah.
them have between each other, because my character was obviously out of that whole situation, and it was really interesting. I think it's a really fun
They
dynamic that they had built between
yeah.
the four of them.
They
No,
actually
I see Sahil on screen and I start laughing. There's
Yeah.
something about poor
Off
chap, which is
screen
actually
also.
unfair. Which is actually
Off
unfair
screen
because he
also.
might not be doing a funny thing, but you still look
Yeah.
at him and say, "Entry mara hai, हंसी आएगी."
लेकिन बहुत डांट पड़ी है उसको, बहुत डांट बेचारे को बहुत डांट पड़ी है. I feel so sorry sometimes that कितनी डांट खाई उसने मुझसे.
He lives for it, sir. नहीं, he lives for that. वो चाहता है.
So, once after the shoot, when Manoj really fired him, he came out and said, I have a feeling Manoj doesn't like me.
Eh, बेचारा.
What is even wrong with you? He loves you.
but Aban, I have to compliment you, because really, and Prachi also owes a new lease of life in her acting career. I mean, you always thought of Prachi as being this petite, sweet, vulnerable kind of person, and here she is as this inspector. Your great choice in casting. Why did you go for Prachi? I just want to understand your thought process as a filmmaker.
I mentioned earlier that I didn't want to do any stereotypes. So sometimes you have this whole cop image in your head, which is being a tough cop, and if you're a cop, you don't have to be feminine, or you have these stereotypes for everything, by and large in life. A politician, sleazy, a businessman, pinstripe suit, that is a kind of image. Now, cop is that. I didn't want that image. I wanted a character who looked feminine enough and is unashamedly so. So I wanted her to look pretty. I gave her lovely clothes, feminine colors, so that it comes across that she is a good cop. And so what if she is a woman? So I was very clear that I wanted somebody who was pretty, but of course somebody who can perform, because she would be pitted against stalwarts like Manoj. I didn't want somebody climbing up. So Prachi is a very fine actor, but she's also very pretty and very expressive. So for me, she was the perfect cop.
Yeah, well done. Really great casting, and it goes against the screen, the grain of things, but it is obviously fitting in very beautifully. I mean, the little that I've seen in the trailer and the teaser. The thing with whodunits, Arjun, and I'm sure Manoj will agree with me, and thrillers that change every second and every minute is there's already so much happening. The story is happening. Sometimes, like Ramu's films, and Manoj will laugh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the dard also happening.
Right.
That actors have to be a little careful, because when you're on the set, you're not hearing all the other ambient noises and the cuts and this and that in the edit. Do you play it differently when you're doing a whodunit or a thriller, or do you just say, whatever the genre might be, I want to stay true to the character? I want to understand your thought process, Arjun.
Well, we spoke about this just earlier in another interview, that it's very interesting that this is possibly the only genre where in other genres, as Manoj sir said over there, that कि दूसरी जगहों पे it's very easy to focus only on your character and be truthful to that. But with this in particular, I also found myself constantly needing to have an eye on what exactly it is that we want the audience to be believing at this point in time, and playing it out accordingly, because it could be coming to you instinctively one way, but then I would go to Aban and be like, no, but wait, Aban, what is the audience supposed to believe right now? And then you have to like really smartly and delicately walk that line of being truthful to the character, yet misleading the audience where it needs to be led, Yeah.
That's very well answered. Yeah, and Manoj, you've been waiting to do this for a long time, haven't you? I mean, this kind of stuff, which is, chill a minute, who done it kind of thing.
Right, I've never done it. I've never done it, and I'm a fan of all Sherlock Holmes and all the Hitchcock films. I always fancied myself to be cast in a film directed by Hitchcock. Whenever I used to watch his films, so this was a script where I was completely engrossed into. When Aban has read the script for me, because Aban prefers to read the script to you, and she was reading it out in a very noisy, the club,
Ambience,
by the
yeah.
the club ambience in by the swimming pools, side restaurant. You know this, Rishi, because you are also member of the same club, and it still is, everything that she said. I was with the script, with each and every line that I was listening to, and I realized that this is just right. If it could engross me in this kind of an atmosphere for 2 hours of the narration, that means let's go ahead and do it. And then I didn't have dates, and suddenly, some dates were opening right after the lockdown, and I told Aban that, Aban, you just do it in this time, because otherwise, I don't have dates for another 1.5 years. And they managed to pull it off in such a short notice. Also because of Kiran Devans running from pillar to post
Yeah,
and
fully,
calling
fully.
everyone. Yeah,
Mr. Super Producer, lovely.
super producer. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So, Aban, Manoj and Arjun know my philosophy of trying to keep interviews as short and sweet as possible, so that the guests never get bored. So I'm going to wrap. But Manoj, I want to just and ask my last question to you, and it's very simple. I mean, you're Manoj Bajpayee. I really appreciate that you're coming out and you're promoting this film. I mean, the film needs it more than anything else. You could have easily said, "Boss, I'm recovering. I'm not well," and nobody would have questioned you. And this just shows your wonderful work ethic, and this is why I have so much
Thank you,
love
Rishi.
for you as a professional as well as a friend. What is the biggest learning from COVID? I mean, anything that you just picked up from about life, health, anything you're learning after having been, testing, after having tested positive.
There are too many things that you go through. I think Arjun has gone through the same thing, though his was asymptomatic, if I'm not wrong, Arjun. Uh, mm, our symptoms were very strong, and me and Shabana both got infected.
Yeah.
So having a 10-year-old child in the same house where parents are infected, and parents don't believe in having mates and helping hand. I've realized that our daughter has suddenly become so responsible, and suddenly become ladylike. She started taking care of her own classes, online classes. She started taking care of her own bed, her water, her food, sanitization. And I was looking at this nature's, miraculous, way in Ava, my daughter. That was something, that completely bowled me over. That our
Amazing.
daughter, in the manner she has looked after herself and completely away from us at the same time. She has never slept alone without her mother in her room. But in these days, she chose to sleep alone without any fuss.
Oh,
Never once she complained. So for me, more, I can talk about other learnings, but for me, this was a miracle that I was seeing, unfolding right in front of me. That a 10-year-old who was not used to anything else, anything of that sort, and suddenly became a ladylike. She started. She was in a different room from morning till night, and uh, she really took care of herself away from us. So that has been an amazing experience that I have seen from my own naked eyes in these 15 days.
This is so
Amazing.
beautiful. What a wonderful way to end this interview, and woman power all the way. Aban, thanks to you and Kiranji that you've cast these wonderful actors together. Manoj, Arjun,
and
Vakar, Prachi, all of them. And, I can't wait to watch Silence. Have a safe and healthy day, all of you. And thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Rishi.
Hrishi K.
Lovely talking to you.
Thank you.